YouTube, what's going on, y'all? I wanted to make this video on ICT's concepts and what happens when you get stopped out. Guys, a lot of times what we make the mistake of thinking is, something's wrong with us, something's wrong with these concepts, and it's not the issue. I want you guys to think about something real quick. We all know how traffic lights work. When one side turns red or is about to start turning red, it turns yellow, then it turns red. What can we expect on our side of the stoplight? It turns green. And that's a routine thing. You go to a four-way, two-way, whatever it is. One side turns red, then the next side turns green. But what if you notice that all traffic lights from each side has turned red? What could you expect? Your light turns green. But what if your light didn't turn green? What if all lights turned red? What does that mean? That means clearly something is being affected, that the system that you're accustomed to seeing, that you're accustomed to knowing, is being hindered. Something's manipulating it. Something is messing it up so that the natural order of things is not being played out. And a lot of times that's the same thing with ICT and his concepts. When you look and you see what's going on in the marketplace and you understand now and you've experienced it over and over again, months after months, even year after year, and you see it more often than not, you know what's going on. But then there's certain days in the marketplace where you're not sure what the draw is. You're not really sure the next direction is gonna go to, whatever it is. You're just unsure. That's the equivalent to that stoplight, where you're not sure what's going on right now. You know what you're expecting to see, you know what you should see, but it's not being played out. And this is where we make that mistake of trying to force our will. We're trying to force something to be seen in the market that we do not see. Guys, this man concepts work. He's programmed, well, I wouldn't say programmed, but yeah, he's changed our mindset on the way that we look at what used to be, in a sense, retail logic. And now we see the markets for what it is. He's told us what this market is for what it is. So when you see certain things playing out, when you're unsure of something, let's say prices at equilibrium on a daily chart, and it could either go back up to some old high or go down low to some old low or whatever, right? And you're unsure about it. That's good. You should feel that way in a sense, because I bet you more times than not, a day like that ends up being a consolidation day where it does go back and forth. But you fighting with the markets trying to expect it to go to a specific location. Now you getting stopped out after stopped out, every single time. Because you're forcing something. You have the mindset and you have the understanding in the markets of what's actually going on, but your character is still retail. And I won't even say retail, because there's people that trade retail logic and they do way better than a lot of us, because they have the characteristics and the habits of businessmen, mindset of businesswomen. They're disciplined. Because you can know all the concepts in the world, but if you're not disciplined, we all know it. One stop out will lead you to go on tilt, and now you failing, you blowing your accounts and all that. But you got to trust the process. You got to really understand that, hey, if these things work and I'm not seeing what I'm accustomed to seeing in the markets, something else is going on that's out of my control. You're already out of your control in the markets, but now you're not even understanding what you're seeing. Okay, cool, let it go. Because more times than not, that day was not even supposed to be your day. If you get stopped out on an ICT concept and you actually followed your risk parameters and all those things, it's not to say that, hey, you didn't make any mistakes. But understand that what he has taught you is supposed to show you, listen, when I get stopped out, that means whatever I'm doing right now, I just need to walk away from this computer. Because you're probably going against what the market itself is trying to do. For example, let's say you're looking at the drawn liquidity on the daily chart, you know what I mean, is bullish, right? And you go down to like 15-minute hourly chart, whatever, and you see some major liquidity that's in sell side that you're expecting to be taken, right? And let's say it goes down there and it takes that liquidity, and now you're expecting to see displacement to the upside, all right? And you see the displacement, you see a fair value gap, first presenting one, whatever, cool, right? 930, whatever it is, right? I don't care. It's displacement, and it's showing with intentions, hey, I want to go up here. And let's say you enter on that. Good risk parameters, everything. You did your job. You set your take profit to wherever you set your take profit to or whatever. But let's say it doesn't even go back up. It just runs straight through that gap and it continues lower. What do you do right there? Let's say you was just like, oh, maybe it's just whatever. Maybe it's doing whatever. I don't know. Getting more liquidity. I don't know. Something stupid. And it goes back down now and it does it again. Forms another fair value gap. Displacement to the upside. You enter in on that, right? And it stops you out again. Bro, get out the chart. Clearly, that stoplight is doing something and is being affected by somebody outside of what's going on. Like, do you not see this? Do you not understand that you're forcing your will on this thing? Yes, he's taught us the order in how things should go, but this man has also told us and taught us what the heck these algorithms and these people that actually control the markets do. So when you're unsure in price, when things aren't going in your favor in price on that day, understand that that's something out of your control. Because you now have a mindset that is in line with the market. So when you're seeing something that's out of sync with your understanding, understand that you're out of sync right now. Somebody is doing something out of sync of what the market is supposed to be doing. And that's something that you got to understand. No, but yeah, thank you. But you got to understand that it's out of sync with what the market is doing. Because we don't follow trend lines, none of this stuff. What do we know price does? Price is either going to some sort of liquidity or some sort of imbalance. So once we understand that, and we can't tell what liquidity or what imbalance or whatever it's going to, understand that maybe somebody's manipulating these markets right now. And be fine with that, because praise God, that means you understand what's going on. But get out of that habit that you have of just thinking it's supposed to only be this one way. Last example of this, right? I'll go the spiritual way. We know, if you're Christian, right? For those that are Christian, we believe what? We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and powers, against rulers of the darkness of this world, spiritual wickedness in high places. In other words, there are spiritual beings that affect the world around us. So when we get into arguments, when we see car accidents, when we see murders, fights, when we see happy things, good things as well, all these things either come from Christ or they come from Satan, good or evil. Outside things are affecting our world. But when we get into those fights, those arguments with our friends and our families and stuff like that, we still have this thing in us called sinful flesh that we haven't surrendered to Christ yet. And though we know these things are being affected by outside beings, we still, in our immaturity, still go down the route of flesh, still go down the route of selfishness, because we feel like this person just did us so wrong. Like, yeah, I know this person's being used right now by Satan, but I'm still gonna go ahead and do and lash out in my fleshly manner. That's the same thing you do when you're trading. You've gotten out of the retail logic. You understand that there's outside forces affecting your this inner world market that we trade in. But because it stops you out, though you did everything right, all that stuff, you still feel like, hey, I'm gonna act in flesh. And now look, you overtrading, you blew your account. Don't do that no more, man. You know what this market is supposed to be doing. You have an understanding of it. So when things are going contrary to that understanding, understand that something is affecting it. Just like how a Christian understands how this world works. So when he sees certain things happening that technically shouldn't be happening, he understands, hey, it's a spirit behind this. It's not that person. Other things, spiritual beings are affecting certain things going on. And what do? You trust in God. Just like how you need to trust in your process. So, I wasn't trying to be too long-winded, but just had to get that off my chest, man, because I've done that multiple times before, too. You get what I'm saying? And just be honest, man. Like, we all need help in here. Pray, cry to the Lord, ask him for guidance and wisdom, man. He'll give it to you. But nevertheless, man, I pray y'all blessed by this. And, yeah. And y'all enjoy y'all day.